Hello and welcome to another one of my videos. Now today I'd like to go back to a country I've not been to for quite a while, and that country is Spain, and take a look at one of their Spanish lunch menus. This particular menu is the A3, so let's get this on a table and see what this pack contains. And so, as you can see, I now have here on the table this Spanish lunch menu, and this particular one is the A3. It has a best before date of 10/23, so a couple of months to go on there. As we know now, they come in a very simple plastic wrap covering a box, no easy open tear strips, so we just bring in my old friend just to slit across the top there. Like we've found many times before, just a simple plain plastic box. So what does this Spanish A3 menu contain? Now straight off the bat we have a content sheet, and it's actually written in 3 languages, so obviously Spanish, English, and I think that one is French, so that is really useful. If I just open this to the English, it will help with the translation. And according to this, we should have a bag of chicken and pasta soup, a tin of stew, Madrid style, a tin of white tuna and vegetable oil, and a tube of peach cream. So, straight off the bat, we have some fuel tabs. This must be the instant soup, chicken and pasta. We have a disinfecting gel. There are 4 isotonic powders, drinks powders. There's a lot of controversy whether you just pour these in your mouth or make them into the drink. Either way, I've found from experience is equally as bad. We have some water purification tablets. There is some toothpaste, some dental cream. This is the tub of the peach cream. So it's like a peach jam, peach puree. We have a tin of stew. I'm assuming this is the tin of stew. The Madrid style stew, 300 grams. We have tuna fish in vegetable oil. Pack of book matches, obviously to go with the fuel tabs. They're just red tip book matches. I think this is a gum. There's the customary TP or serviettes, whichever the need, napkins, whichever the need first arise. And of course there is the folding stove to go with the fuel tabs and matches. So that is the contents of this Spanish Armed Forces lunch ration A3. So let's get these out on a tray and see what they look and taste like. And so, as you can see, I now have everything here laid out on the tray, and the first thing I noticed, once you take away all the sundry items like the stove and the fuel tablets, there's not a lot actual food content left. There is the stew, which I have put in boiling water, cracked the lid, and as you can see, some of the contents have started to ooze out of there, so it's very hot, very warm. We have the tuna, 4 of these white isotonic powders, and the soup mix. So I'm going to start off, which needs a bit of preparation, with this soup mix. It asks for 200 centilitres or decilitres, which is 200 mils of boiling water. So this is the soup mix. It says chicken and pasta. So Looks just very much like a sort of cup of soup or bouillon or gravy mix, and we shall just give that approximately 200 millilitres of boiling water. And yes, I've bought in the USMRE spoon, the good old trusty spoon. This is about a 300 plus millilitres, 380 millilitre mug, so I'm going for about half. You can always add, you can't take away. So we'll just give that a stir and just leave it a few minutes to do its thing. It's quite thin looking. While we have a look at the isotonic drinks powders. I've had these many times before. They do them in little sachets. I've been informed that the soldiers put them into the mouth, they empty the powder straight into the mouth. Others say they mix it with water. Either way, I've never found these pleasant, so I'm just going to use one. And I'm just going to mix it. Oop, I'm dropping everything everywhere. So it is just a very simplistic looking powder, quite granular, and I'm just going to mix that with a little water. I'm not going to give it too much water, or maybe I should give it all the water to help dilute the flavour down a little bit. But all four obviously are supposed to go in. I'm just doing the one. I'm just going to leave the tin of stew for a moment and work my way around. I'm going to have a look at this peach cream. There is no crackers. I know with the Spanish rations, their lunch menus come with a load of crackers, lots of crackers. I know they're supposed to last a day. But also I know from experience being in the army many years ago, you don't always get supplied with what you need. So you could theoretically end up with 3 of these for your entire day. Not a breakfast, lunch and dinner, but 3 of these. And if that was the case, where's your crackers? So, very tough plastic packaging, hard to open, but there is the cream there, peach cream. I'm just going to rinse my knife a little bit. Just got a little bit of water there just to take some of that stickiness off. We also have some tuna in vegetable oil. Now, I try not to spill this all over everywhere. It would be in oil. The worst thing to sort of spill all over the table. I think I should just peel back the lid and work from there rather than risk spilling the entire contents everywhere. We also have a gum which I'm going to save till last, and now it's time to finish opening the very hot, very hot, bringing a little bit of cloth there. This is the stew, see if I can get it to come out the pack from that. There is large like chickpeas. Wow, so hot. So hot. Having trouble getting this out. I should imagine even if I heated this on the stove, it would still be very hot. Looks like there was a bit of chorizo sausage. Let me just finish that draining off. Some chorizo sausage, lots of chickpeas, 1 piece of beef or pork, so very lacking the pork. So I seem to have 2 spoons, but better to have too many than not enough. I'm just going to give that, I'm sure that won't matter using the same one, it's soup 1 more stir. So no tea, no coffee, very basic, very basic. So start off with the soup. This is chicken and pasta. Can't see the pasta. Wow. Either I've put too much water in that, or there is just no flavour. That is about 20 millilitres of water. That's flavourless, not thick, it's thin, like a very, very cheap bouillon, chicken stock cube. Personally, I think that could do with some pepper. Plenty of salt in there, but it could do with some pepper. It's drinkable. It's a warm drink if you was cold. Bearing in mind Spanish is a hot country, but their soldiers might have to fight anywhere around the world. Not my best. Quite poor. Quite poor. Very weak. Very tasteless. Now to the wonderful isotonic drinks powders. As always, there is a slight smell, hint of lemon in the background. I think that's just to make it palatable, but it's only just palatable. Again, like the soup, uninspiring, not the nicest, best drink. I've only ever come across those in the Spanish ration, so to get these in every single ration, every single meal, must be disappointing. Again, sure, it does the job, replaces those isotonic powders, but as for taste and inspiration, not very, very good. So moving on, I think we shall have a look now at this Madrid style stew. Lots of chickpeas. It's too hot to hold. Lots of chickpeas, 1 cube of meat with the fat still attached, 1 small piece of what looks like chorizo sausage. The rest is just chickpeas and some sort of juice. So I'm going to break the meat up best I can and start with a piece of that very small amount of meat. Very chewy. You do need teeth. It's a cheap cut of meat. Seems like the sort of meat that you have to stew for hours on end to get to become soft, but it still needs a little bit more stewing. You do need teeth. You do need to chew it. A lot of fat on it. In fact, there is a chunk of just the fat. Let's try some of the sausage. Small bit of the chorizo sausage. That's the opposite. That just falls apart in your mouth. Very watery, very wet. There's no texture left of the sausage. It just collapses. Collapses in your mouth. It's very difficult to get. It's like fishing out the pieces, out the juice. Again, this is where the crackers would come in. A couple of crackers to help soak this up, but a bit more of that sausage. Try the chickpeas. There's 3 chickpeas there. They are just done. Nice and tender, nice and soft. A little bit of carrot on the side there. Okay, the carrot, very well cooked. The chickpeas are well cooked, tender. Meat, could do with a little bit longer, very stringy and fatty. The chorizo sausage is sloppy. That's the best way of describing it. I've never really eaten sloppy chorizo. Again, would fill you. Not over inspiring with herbs and spices. Certainly need some crackers. Not the best meal I've had. So let's move along. Use the same spoon. Now these are white tuna in oil. So it looks like typical canned tinned tuna that you're going to find anywhere in the world. Quite salty along with oily. There's a lot of salt in there. There's a lot of brine in with the oil. So it's a salty oil. It's canned tuna. Everyone would be familiar with. Nothing really much to say. It's a staple of most countries around the world. A lot of oil. A lot of oil. Personally, I prefer in the tomato sauce, but this is okay. It's sweet. It's salty, oily. I'm just going to try a little bit with some of those chickpeas. Does go. The salt actually helps the lack of flavour in the main meal. So again, you could mix it. I wouldn't really want to mix all of the oil, but some of the tuna fish with the chickpeas and the juice. Sort of makes up for the lack of seasoning and lack of meat in the main dish. They do go well together. That is probably the best way of using it. Try and get as much of that oil off as I can. And eating it together. So that's the chorizo, the tuna, chickpeas. Starting to feel a little bit too much oil, too much grease. I need to stop there. This is not my favourite meal. Try the soup again. That has thickened a little, not a lot. I think you can just about see something that they describe as pasta on the bottom there. Okay. Changing the spoon. Let's try some of this peach cream. It's thick, it's gelatinous, it's not like a jam, it's more like a jelly. On its own, it's sweet, sticky, jellified, set. Crying out for some sweet crackers. As a topping for some sweet crackers, it would make a reasonably decent sweet pudding. As it is, it's as you'd expect. It's pretty much just like eating jam out of a jar with nothing else, just literally jam on the spoon. But that said, it is tasty. It is a nice sweet little bit of after dish. No wet nap, just get wet gel, which isn't going to be very useful in helping you get the oil off your hands. And it just leaves the gum. There's one large briquette, about the size of two standard little briquettes. Nice crispy shell. A nice mint flavour. Does clean your teeth, does freshen your breath. Personally, I think that is the best item in the entire meal pack. Does clean the teeth, good amount of oil, mint oil, nice and refreshing. Just take that out of my mouth. So, overall, I say as a find, no disrespect to any country ever, but this is the truthful review. Overall, I couldn't think of a worse meal to give to troops which are starving, hungry, lack of crackers, lack of coffee, lack of a decent cold drink, very little food value. As I said, out in the field, you don't always get separate breakfasts, dinners and lunches. You may very well end up with 3 of these for all 3. In that case, morale would be very low. Not my favourite, but would stop you from starving. Just about that's it. So, thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe and hit that notification button for future videos coming very soon. So thank you and goodbye.